Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
We're going totally 80s with an entire hour dedicated to the music, TV, and fashion that defined the decade. We're going totally 80s with an entire hour dedicated to the music, TV, and fashion that defined the decade. Tina Yothers, who played Jennifer Keaton on Family Ties, will be here live. What was it like working with Michael J. Fox? And would a political sitcom like Family Ties work in today's world? 80s heartthrob Lorenzo Lamas from Falcon Crest joins us live. And 80s pop star Taylor Dayne is here live. Oh my gosh. Okay, before we address the elephant in the room, very important, we want to wish everybody a happy Veterans Day and a big thank you to all the military veterans out there for your service.
Absolutely. Not enough words. Absolutely.
All right, so, hello. We've got a very special show for you today. It's our DBL Goes Totally 80s episode where we're celebrating this very rad decade, all that came with it. And if you notice, we're all decked out in our 80s outfits. How are you all feeling, revisiting? I mean, we were all born in the 80s. How are you feeling?
I feel really wide.
Oh, ouch. 70s, baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 78, yeah.
Wow. I feel really wide, like an upside down triangle, and it's so unflattering. But I'm excited.
Okay.
I actually am the opposite.
You dig it?
Whether it's politics or 80s, we're the opposite, huh? I like it.
I like your guy liner.
I didn't get to even see myself.
It looks
put
good,
it on,
Jeff.
But I'm like, I was looking in the mirror, I'm like, I wouldn't mind rocking this.
You look like the preppy, like when you look back in 80s movies, like you're like the Andrew McCarthy, like preppy Usha Day. I said that in Pig Latin because I'm not sure if I can say that.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yes.
I would like it.
What about you, E?
I'm loving this. This is apparently 80s Oscar de la Renta.
Oh my word.
Erica got Oscar de la Renta.
How
did you get that?
Because she's Erica.
It fit.
Yeah.
It fit. Of course it did.
Yeah.
How about you, Sam? How you love it. Don't even lie.
You know I do. Yes.
And your bangs look good.
I'm an 80s baby. I did my own bangs, even though Miss Destiny did the awesome ponytail. I said, wait. I certainly remember how to do a wave back in 4th and 5th grade. Give it to me. All right. The 80s were dominated by a lot of really big hit TV shows. We all watched them. Some of the most popular included The Cosby Show, The Golden Girls, who can forget Cheers, and of course, Family Ties. More than 35 million Americans tuned in to watch that show every Wednesday or Thursday night. So we have a very special guest joining us from that show. Here's a little hint.
I have a problem, Alex.
Jennifer, you're 11 years old. You got a roof over your head? You're fed every day? Don't pay taxes? What kind of problem could you possibly have?
Oh my gosh, I remember that episode. You know her as Jennifer Keaton on Family. Tina Yothers, everybody. Are you?
Hello.
And you're wearing what, like an 80s wig, or you just still have the 80s hair? You're not ready to let go of the decade?
I'm sorry. When you're voted by MTV the worst hair of the decade, you rock it for your whole life.
That's my favorite.
Lean into it.
Yeah, there it is.
Just kidding.
I love it.
All right, Tina, we are celebrating all things 80s today. So I really wanted to get to ask you, not just on the show, the entire 80s, what was your favorite part of that decade?
It's just such a decade. Decades since then have kind of just been blah.
Yeah.
The music, the style. Since then, the styles have been like ripping off little pieces of our generations that we created. Not that I'm totally proud of the hairstyle and some of the clothes, but it was a good time.
It was a good time. Do you have a favorite,
the music?
The music. What's your go-to 80s song?
Right. I mean, I love it all. I listen to the 80s all the time. I love the Cars. I love the Police. I was at a bar with a couple friends not too long ago, and there was an 80s band playing, a cover band, and my best friend's husband said that I was in the house, and so I got up and sang Metro.
Oh, cool. I love it. Oh, here we go. There you go. There's a little Metro reminiscent for you.
I'm having flashbacks to the way we're dressed, talking to you, the music, but we can't talk 80s TV without talking about Family Ties, of course.
Such a good show.
But you were the youngest member of that cast for so many years. What was that like for you? Were they really your second family or no?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Growing up on television, people had, I don't know, they just had misconceptions of this glamour. And it is, but on our set, it was just a family. It truly was. And a lot of times I would give interviews and people would ask for the behind the scenes drama, and there really was none. We were just Gary Goldberg ran a tight ship, and he put a family together that had chemistry, and we love each other to this day.
That's great.
That's great.
It's so crazy. Even watching the scene before you came in, I'm like, I remember where I was when I saw that scene, which is just like crazy. But I have to ask, because you played Michael J. Fox's younger sister, and I hear that he was quite the jokester with you on set. So tell us about that.
He was like any other big brother. He was gross. He for me. And when and people would come up to me in public and say like, "Oh my God, I want to touch you. You touched Michael J. Fox." I'd be like, "Ew, he's gross." No, we would have so much fun. We were notorious for having water gun fights, and I'm not talking like little pistols. I'm talking like illegal. Would definitely be banned today. They cause a lot of damage and way too much fun.
How fun. Okay, so this is something
he
that
also used to also wager bets on my strength, and I am a very strong person, just naturally, and he would bet some of the crew members, all of them, arm wrestling me, and he would bet on me to win, and I think I made a lot of.
Ooh, yeah, that's how you make some side money right there. I know.
Yeah,
side gig. I know, Tina. Like honestly, this is such like a blast from the past. It's so cool to have you on here. Thank you so much for joining us.
And for being a great sport.
Yeah,
too. The wig,
seriously.
Yes.
And doing.
Thank you guys for.
Go ahead. There's a little bit of a delay. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a breath of fresh air in the climate that we're in. I think Family Ties would do justice in this time and this political craziness that we're going through. I think a little peace between everyone would be a nice breath of fresh air.
Beautifully said.
So watch Family Ties. It's in reruns.
Thank you for doing such a great job kicking off our special Totally 80s episode. We appreciate you, and for all of you at home, Tina is currently working on a book. Ooh. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. Very cool. Thank you, Tina. Coming up on this special 80s edition of DBL, heartthrob Lorenzo Lamas from Falcon Crest will be here live. Plus, who could forget the Milli Vanilli lip sync scandal? Oh, he's wearing your coat, Tori. We're diving back into the wild headlines from the 80s that had everyone talking.
Some hamburger places give you a lot less beef on a lot of bun.
Where's the beef?
At Wendy's, we serve a hamburger we modestly call a single. And Wendy's single has more beef than the Whopper or Big Mac. At Wendy's, you get more beef and less bun.
Hey, where's the beef?
Yes, welcome back. We are sticking with all things 80s by breaking down some of the biggest, look at our, I can't even look at us, some of the biggest celebrity scandals of the decade, starting with scandals that rocked the music world. Do you guys remember Milli Vanilli?
Oh, yeah.
The songs Girl You Know It's True and Blame It on the Rain.
How'd you
Yeah,
get it the same song, Sam?
Yeah, that's the same song. No, they sounded different. They were made instant stars, but all came crashing down when they were caught lip syncing at a concert. Now, at a press conference, they admitted they never sang any of their songs. They turned over their Grammys, and their career was immediately over. Madonna also faced a scandal that almost ended her career. She got into hot water over her video for Like a Prayer, which showed her singing in front of burning crosses and kissing a black religious figure. The Vatican condemned the video, and she lost her $5 million deal with Pepsi. But then this music video and her album, 15 million purchases. Iconic. So they shouldn't. You think Pepsi should have let her run that commercial that was supposed to highlight this video?
Yes.
What is wrong with
I'm trying to figure out, do you mean the Burning Crosses video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think back then it was a whole thing, but really what they did is they elevated Madonna, didn't they? It elevated her. It was like getting a CD with parent explicit language.
Yeah.
We all wanted that, remember?
I agree. And it was such a rebellious era.
Yes.
So the idea of like some of these things even being scandals, like if someone was caught lip syncing at a concert now, we'd just be like, something happened with the sound guy.
The little Jessica Simpson's little sister, remember that?
Ashley.
Ashley
Yep, at the
Saturday-
Super Bowl.
No, Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, SNL.
Wow.
Sorry. The 80s were also ripe with sex scandals that nearly derailed two careers. Back in the 80s, Rob Lowe was one of the biggest stars on the planet, but in 1988, a sex tape of him and two women.
Dude, we have it?
One was a young woman.
Whoa.
She was 16 years old. Rob settled a civil suit with her family, but was never charged with a crime. And then in 1983, Vanessa Williams was crowned the first Black Miss America, but 10 months into her reign, nude photos of her were published in Penthouse magazine. Now, during a press conference, she said she never consented to those photos being published, but was still forced to resign.
Yeah, I'm not going to conflate those two stories because Vanessa Williams was basically a young model who was taken advantage of. She got into a situation where she was photographed, and then the photographs were sold because of her come up.
Yeah.
But joke was on everybody else because we still talk about Vanessa
That's
Williams,
exactly
now, don't we?
right.
Yes, we do. I know.
Great singer.
All right, come.
And
Vanessa
actress.
Williams, an actress, but she's a great singer too. I used to love her cassette tapes. What?
Nothing. We're just listening. Gosh, coming up on DBL, the 80s fun continues with Lorenzo Lamas. There he is.
Yes!
There he is. He joins us live coming up
Holy
next.
heck.
Themselves to death, but we've been fighting them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
My mother is a murderer.
Well, Lance, in a strange way, so is mine.
Chase isn't gonna die, Maggie. You're not gonna let him die.
We are going to prosper and we are going to grow.
Ooh, spicy. Welcome back. Primetime soap operas took over our TVs in the 80s. And in the vineyards of California, you found rivalry, romance, and a family feud at the Falcon Crest Winery. And in the middle of it was Playboy Lance Comes In. From the hit drama series Falcon Crest, we are joined by Lance himself, Lorenzo Lamas. Welcome.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Lorenzo, I got to say, you look cuter than ever. You look cute. And I saw you watching those old clips. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Little silver.
Silver fox.
Rocking it, buddy. Falcon Crest style. All right. So you were just 21 when Falcon Crest started. Do you remember what you were doing when you actually found out you got that role?
Because I know enough to rule. Oh, well, I'd only been in television for maybe 2 or 3 years. You know, I had a couple of series that didn't, last very long for Lorimar. And, I had just finished doing a series with Linda Hamilton. That series got canceled after 9 episodes. So no legs to that one. But then I was asked to audition for Lance.
That's so nice.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is
there
history.
There couldn't be another Lance.
No, there's one Lance. This Lance. Right. Oscar and Golden Globe winner.
Luckily for me, there was just one.
just one. It's not Darren's from Bewitched. Oscar and Golden Globe winner Jane Wyman played your grandmother in Falcon Crest, and I wanted to know if you knew how big of a star she was when you found out you were on a show with her.
And I love you too. Well, sure, because my father and her had done a show years before. The night I was born, my dad was filming the live Jane Wyman show.
No way.
And he got called to the hospital in the middle of the second act, and Jane almost never forgave him. So the first time I met her on the set, she goes, "I hope you don't leave me without a second act, buddy."
Wow. That's a crazy story.
I know.
That's like divine intervention there.
Thank you for sharing that. So you were also an 80s heartthrob, big time. How did that make you feel?
Well, I was just happy to have a label, Because everybody needs to be typecast in a certain way to continue to work. So a lot of actors complain about the typecasting. I never did because I felt it was actually, something that would continue to give me work. So I never the heartthrob is kind of it's a little simple in terms of like how it's supposed to describe a guy. My father used to say he hated the word macho, which was also an 80s term. You heard it all the time. Because in Spanish, macho means male. It doesn't mean, chain-wearing, hairy-chested, Corvette-driving guys. He hated that moniker.
You're describing Jeff.
In the 80s.
Right.
Jeff is in the 80s today. No, macho, to my father, macho meant male, meaning being able to cry, being able to share emotion, being able to be a partner to his woman, That's what a real man or a male is supposed to be, not the macho thing. But in terms of heartthrob, I didn't mind it too much. It got me a lot of work in the 80s.
I mean, if you got to pick a label, I would pick heartthrob too. Okay, so let's talk about it. Since we're celebrating everything about the 80s, we want to know how you would describe the 80s.
Oh, my, wild, chaotic, free. It seemed like entertainment was like on a wild abandon. Anything goes. Humor was so free then. We all made fun of each other, and everybody didn't take it seriously. It was just a whole different era, and for me, it was a great decade because I worked quite a bit, but I also played pretty hard.
Nice.
So it was fun.
We need to have you back and get some of those stories.
I was going to say, I want more of that. Now, real quick, we have about 30 seconds. In the 80s, what TV shows or music or movies did you love? What were you listening to? Give us a soundtrack of Lorenzo Lamas.
Always been a James Bond fan. Nice. So we had Roger Moore in the 80s and Duran Duran doing the soundtrack. Whitney Houston singing the national anthem at the NFL game. These iconic memories that we all tap on or tap into when we want to think about, you know, the good times. Yeah. The good times.
Oh, I love it. Lorenzo, thank you so much for joining us to reminisce about the 80s. We couldn't do it without you. We appreciate you. We'll be right back. Thanks, Lorenzo.
Thanks, Lorenzo.
America, demand your MTV. I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV. Call your cable company and say, I want my MTV.
think our show's a little different.
Our chemistry is just so on.
Sometimes I'm a little mad at my co-host, Jeff.
And my co-hosts have to trust that I'm gonna bring it.
Whether you love us or hate us, or you can't stop watching us.
DBL is on.
We love sharing your comments. We got some right here. Tracy says, Erica looks like some, this is what I said earlier. Erica looks like something Lisa from Saved by the Bell wore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Totes Lisa Turtle.
Yes. And then Barbara says, Jeff, you're looking quite dapper, very handsome.
I appreciate it. I feel it too,
Are
Barbara.
you gonna wear it all day today?
I might. I might just go home and be like Jordan.
Ew. Ew, Shooter McGavin. What about you, Tori?
McGavern?
What is it?
McGavin?
McGavin.
It's Shooter McGavin. That's an Adam Sandler
Tori, are you going to wear that all day?
Are you going to wear that all day?
Here's my thing. Like, did people think this looked good?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
But are you embracing your mole?
Oh yeah, I did the.
I'm surprised it's not leaking by now, because I thought for sure she was going to have like a road map on her face.
But I just think it's so funny that the 80s, we were like, yeah, now I look good. I'll walk out in this.
It was so cool. I loved it. Okay, so here's what's ahead on this special 80s edition of DBL: tracksuits, shoulder pads, and leg warmers. Oh my. We're talking all about the fashion that defined the 80s. Plus, 80s pop star Taylor Dayne joins us live. There she is. We can't wait to talk with her next. What was it, the snake that you would do, right?
Is that 80s?
The snake? Welcome to DBL. Okay, hi, that was Video Killed the Radio Star, the very first music video played on MTV. As you can see, we are all totally 80s here. Yep, we're paying homage to the decade, and you can't discuss the 80s without talking about the music. So, what are your favorite songs? What was your favorite songs in the 80s when you think 80s, Jeff?
First of all, I want to point out that Tori's a nerd. Why? And that when we saw the people on the moon, she's like, that wasn't historically accurate. I'm like,
it's like 1969.
It's a music video. From the 80s. That was hilarious. Okay, so mine is I Ran by Flock of Seagulls.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Totally reminds me, the hair, the music, the rhythm. I mean, this is my 80s jam. And when I was in Los Angeles, we played this game called Grand Theft Auto, and they had all the 80s jams on there, and I didn't have like a stereo or anything, so we'd put that on and just crank up the TV all the way. Yeah, and then people try to steal your car, and we're like, hey, Donovan, get back in the car and play that song again. That was like our radio when I lived in Los Angeles.
I love it. Erica, what about yours? Come on, girl.
I still love this one. Always by Atlantic Star, okay?
Oh,
okay,
yes.
This was a huge 80s wedding song, and I think I broke the record for being a flower girl in so many weddings. This was the song that everybody was playing in the 80s as you walk down the aisle, and I thought, when I get married, I'm gonna play that song.
Did you? Did you?
I did not. I did.
She didn't.
But I do love that song.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And Tori, I'm anticipating yours.
So, I mean, I could have done the big bangers, which we all blah, 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 but I did my real favorite, which is...
B-52s?
No.
Oh.
Paul Simon's You Can Call Me Al.
Oh, that's
which
a good
is
one.
I didn't know Chevy Chase was randomly in this video.
Of course.
Oh, well, he's... Okay. Anyway, I wish Al were here, but it's all about a man going to Africa and learning about his surroundings from his Graceland album. So I am a big fan. I know every lyric.
And you dissected it like a music major.
I sure did. Sammy, what's your favorite?
Oh, my sister, I even quizzed her earlier. I was obsessed. I wanted to be her in this music video. Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, Cher, if you could turn back time. She's in Chaps. She's on a ship in Coronado, California with a bunch of sailors. No coincidence my first boyfriend was a sailor. That's true. I wanted to be Cher in that video. I played it over and over and over. Loved it.
Did you like
Are we talking about the song or the sailor?
I wanted to be Cher.
Did you wear did you like the like those high
like 8. So for me, I just could not believe what a rock star she was. The big hair, she did a guitar solo.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. Well, speaking of the 80s, you guys, music we loved. This is huge. Our next guest had the Grammy-nominated dance anthem of 1988. Do you guys remember this one? You look great.
That's a song. You do look fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't. Not so much. Not so much. But Taylor, before we get into, you didn't have to laugh like that. But before we get into all things music, we do want to congratulate you on being cancer-free. So congratulations. Yes. And we want to know. Everyone wants to know, how are you feeling? How you doing?
I'm about 85% there. It's just I'm very grateful, and it's been a process.
Yeah.
Great to hear.
We're grateful to have you here. So nice to see you. Let's talk about music, because we want to know what your favorite song from the 80s was.
Well, I graduated high school 1980, and I was definitely sneaking in the clubs. And that record from Michael Jackson, Thriller, PYT.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. That started this whole club. It was just a mixture of just the best song. Just, oh yeah.
Yes.
I like how everyone snaps as soon as that comes on. Yeah.
I mean, Michael really just is the epitome of just the entertainer, and just how he took that and that music, and with the bass, boom, 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 boom.
Oh my gosh. Did you get to meet Michael?
Absolutely. I opened the Bad tour for him in Europe. So that was from nothing, from that overnight, stardom was really, I started in Europe with him. Yeah, It was amazing.
Imagine having that as a story. All right, what I want to ask you is the first thing that comes to your mind when you blink and think 1980s?
Me going into clubs and plastic. Every club in New York City. I was born and raised in New York, and so I was getting into the Cat Club, CBGB's, Private Eyes was just starting. This whole visual was taking over. This, the idea of multimedia, right? Videos. So my brother was a DJ in Private Eyes, which was more of a VJ. And you had the Limelight, the Cat Club, and you had 8th Street, and when you see suddenly Seeking, Madonna's for that film, that Second Avenue there, 8th Street, and that first video of mine is St. Mark's, and I was shot there. It's just kind of cool.
Taylor,
plastic, leather.
If you had to dress up like we are today, what would you wear? What would be your 80s go-to outfit? I would assume plastic.
Well, I think pleather, my love.
Pleather.
Yes. Did you notice, and tell it's my heart, that was not even leather, baby. That was, plastic, pleather, and, it was really vinyl, and yeah.
Ooh.
the moment here.
Gosh, so we got
There she is.
There she is. Oh my, look at you.
How fierce.
Okay, first of all, Taylor.
Yes.
Look at all that.
You look younger
Today.
now.
Designed with love, fit, love. Yeah.
Wow.
The designer right on 8th Street, New York.
Wow.
Leather jacket, bomber, short, hot.
I remember that video wanting to be you. In fact, I have my Taylor Dane skirt on today. This is pretty much the same one. It is.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's great. Yes. A little crinoline, right? A little, yeah, it's fabulous.
So let's talk about Tell It to My Heart. It was a massive hit. We all remember singing along to it. What was the moment when you specifically knew, okay, this isn't just a song, this is a hit?
Well, it was in Europe. It broke in Europe, and I went to they had me going to a signing in Germany. I was in Germany, was really Germany, London, England, and I showed up at an in-store, and there was about 3,000, 4,000 people out front with that hair, with those lips, and with that, that prong of crimped hair in front of their eyes, and I go, whoa, something's happened here.
Yeah, opening for Michael Jackson will do that.
Yeah.
Taylor, that's when I went to open for him. It was a sensation. It took over in Europe, and
people dressed like you. They wanted to emulate you. Do you have any really crazy stories of fan encounters?
Fan encounters. Well, in Europe, then, it was paparazzi. There was a lot of that. That was being chased on motorbikes. That was all that. It really didn't start here until 90s, It was a real big problem in Europe. And I had people climbing over bathroom stalls when I was in a restroom. Like, hey, can I have your autograph? I go, not a good time. Not a good time. But, yes, like crazy stuff like that. But, par for the course. But being with, being in some of those hotels, like, guys, there would be thousands and thousands of people out front. I remember getting out of a car and fans would just mob you, and you just had as much security as you possibly could around you to get you out of the car into the hotel lobby.
Wow, Tori, you could totally relate.
Yeah, this happens to me when I leave the building. Sure. There's about 7 men standing out there, and I'm like, come on, squad.
It was a time.
It was a time.
You did get jail mail yesterday.
I got 3 letters from the same guy. We'll talk later. I wanted to know your favorite 80s artists, because you're one of ours. Who did you listen to on repeat?
Well, when you think of that, I think of MTV. It was really this magical moment of art meeting media, and Adam Ant, Billy Idol.
Yes.
Cyndi Lauper. I mean, Boy George. These were Annie Lennox. They really expressed and took that artistic forum, of art, media, and what was going on in the streets, this grassroots approach, and really what they were doing from their closet. They put it out on, this isn't like everything was couture then.
Right. It was like what they grabbed.
They made that, they did that. I talked to Belinda Carlisle about that. Belinda was like, I went in my closet and, you just got experimental. We were in thrift stores looking for stuff. We just were exploring and creative.
That is so cool.
I feel I've got you guys have the same energy, you and Sam.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you do.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, we're the same person.
Now you're moving into stalker stuff.
Yes.
Okay. I don't understand, Sam. You wanted to be Cher 5 minutes ago. Now you want to be TD. I don't understand.
Hey, Taylor, you could have duality of thought. I could have a little Taylor in me, a little Cher in me. Why not? What?
Absolutely.
Taylor, we appreciate you.
That was
Thank
amazing.
you so much for going on this journey with us today. DBL
My
Nation,
pleasure.
Taylor is currently on tour. You can see her at Winterfest in Fort Lauderdale on December 10th. Also, make sure to get her book, Tell It to My Heart, on Amazon right now. Thanks so much, Taylor. Bye, Taylor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up on DBL, our favorite fashion guy, Lawrence Zarian, joins us live. We're talking with him all about the iconic looks of the 80s. And as we go to break, let's hear another unforgettable hit from Taylor. Love Will Lead You Back. DBL. We'll be right back.
gosh, welcome back to this totally tubular episode of DBL. That was a clip from the original American Bandstand back in 1982 where you could find our next guest. And you know we can't talk about the 80s without talking about the fashion, so who better to wake us up before we go other than our favorite fashion guy and friend of the show, Lawrence Zarian. Okay, yep. Reliving his glory days.
LZ, how you feeling, LZ?
Can I? All right, let me just say this. First of all, great to be with you guys again, number one. Number two, I'm gonna brag, and I didn't realize it until decades had passed. I was a part of the original American Bandstand.
Yep.
I saw Madonna, the Ghost, saw them all. It was the coolest moment of my life ever. And then being a part of the DBL.
Thank you for adding that. We just want to get your quick take, LZ, on our outfits today. How do we do? Who's best? Am I best?
Okay,
Who's best?
Okay, you said the word. Okay, I'm gonna stick in. Okay, I see big shoulder pads. I see headbands. I see Jeff trying to be just like me. I love the scrunchie. I love the side. I love being bright. I know Jeff, we go all the time. You stole my look.
Hey, that's a good look to steal, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Definitely. How about Sam? She wants a compliment down there.
Oh, yeah, I'm waiting
Let me see,
for you.
Sam. Okay, let me just tell you something. It is ultimate opulence. It screams dynasty. It screams Falcon Crest. It screams Knots Landing. I love opulence. But then we got a little punk glam going on right over there. Look, you're right. Come on. Look to your right. There we go. Bright colors, neon. Yeah.
Lawrence, I love it.
I think other than Jeff, you guys look amazing.
Yeah! Now you fit right in. There you go.
I'm pulling my best Lawrence I can. So, Lawrence, this is an important question here, okay? Was rock influenced by the 80s or the 80s influenced by rock?
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you this. The 80s was most definitely influenced by rock. Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Madonna. But also, in the 80s, fashion influence was television, soap operas, movies. I mean, Pretty in Pink, Dynasty, Dallas, movies, Heathers. All those influenced the way people dressed.
So what celebrity specifically brings you back to that era?
I mean, there are so many for me. I'm a huge Madonna fan because I think she single-handedly took fashion. The next is what I call decade blending, something from the 40s, something from the 60s, bustier dressing, petticoats, more and more and more. And don't forget, the higher the hair, the higher to God.
Ooh, that's right.
The closer to God.
Yes. Exactly. And I'm really close today. Okay, Lawrence, you want to play a little game? Because I feel like we should play a game.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, we're going to talk 80s fashion trend with Lawrence Zarian. We're going to talk about which 80s looks, should they keep that or should they make a comeback? Let's start with parachute pants. What do you say, Lawrence? Should the 80s keep that or should they make a comeback?
Some things are meant to be left where they started. Those parachute pants, boy, can't touch this. Don't want it. Good, gone, bye.
Okay, keep that 80s. Okay, who remembers those glamour shots at the mall? I always wanted one. My mama said we couldn't afford it. Should the 80s keep that or should it make a comeback?
Okay, and here's the thing. That's when women had perms, and then they teased, and then they blow dried, and then they sprayed. First of all, if you have a glamour shot, hold on to it because it is priceless, number one. Number two, keep that picture in the closet because we don't want to see it again. But in full honesty, I did have a perm, and I did spray it high, and I even had my hair pulled out. And that was one of the things that I did not send in.
See, we need that. We need that. All right, let's talk acid wash denim. Should the 80s keep that or should it make a comeback?
Well, let's say this. Denim was so in vogue in the 80s, and so many different types of denim. But that acid wash is decade specific. Nasty, light rinse, medium rinse, dark rinse, and maybe just a touch of acid influence. And as you look at fashion right trend, 80s influences are in, but subtle influences.
Okay, this one I have the answer to, but shoulder pads. Should the 80s keep that, or should they make a comeback?
Love this movie.
Shoulder pads are back and better than ever. Women used to look like linebackers walking down the street. But also, tailored dressing was so on trend. So that's when women, especially with the movie like Working Girl, women to express and exude power. But now women have power and then don't need the pads because they've got it all on their own.
Wait a minute, you said we can't bring back shoulder pads? Because I certainly have brought them back.
Let me just say this, sweetheart. If your shoulder pads are this big, I mean, go from this to this.
Okay.
Tone it down just a little bit.
Minimize.
It's more of a V on the top as opposed to the sloop.
Unlike Tori looking like a linebacker over there.
Ridiculous.
You look like a linebacker.
I look like an upside down triangle.
Okay, Lawrence, we love you. We miss you. Come back to studio. DBL Nation, make sure you follow Lawrence for daily style and influence on Instagram at Lawrence Arian, and get to know some of your favorite Hollywood stars by checking out his podcast, You Are Beautiful. Thanks again, Lawrence. Looking good. We'll be right back.
Yeah, later, buddy.
It's amazing.
I'm putting you down to deal with Dallas. Don, is it a deal? Do we have a deal? It's a deal. I got to go. I got a call coming in. Hi, Doc. Just dealt with Don.
In this fast-moving, high-pressure, get-it-done-yesterday world, aren't you glad there's one company that can keep up with it all?
You got a deal. Good. I'm putting you down to deal with Dick. Dick, what's the deal with the deal? Are we dealing? We're dealing. Dave, it's a deal with Don, Doc, and Dick. Doc, it's a deal with Dave, Dick, and Dave. Don, it's a doc with Dick, Dave.
I think our show's a little different. We could say what we want and go deeper than other shows can.
Our chemistry is just so on.
Sometimes I'm a little mad at my co-host, Jeff.
My co-hosts have to trust that I'm gonna bring it and be 100% all the time.
There's zero filter with us. Whether you love us or hate us, or you can't stop watching us.
DBL is on.
Uh-oh. Hey, no time to run, no games. Your time has come today. Just stopping by to say, we're taking over. We made all this. We're taking over. You know what time it is. We're taking over. We're made to win.
DBL is all new every day.
fun was that? It was such a
It was so fun. Look at Tori, she's exhausted.
I'm so
after an hour.
tired. Tori, do the Roger Rabbit. Is this it?
No.
Oh.
It's the Cabbage Patch.
Is it this?
That's the Cabbage Patch.
All right.
Do the
Just
Roger
do the
Rabbit.
snake. All right.
How about a shout out like to Sharon up there? We had like 10 guests today, and our wardrobe team and all the producers putting those things together. Great job, guys.
And
Joel.
Joel graphics.
Really great job.
Really good. We love you,
Yeah,
Jolie.
good job. What a great staff, DBL.
Totally 80s.
Totally 80s.
Yes.
You guys.